So without any further ado, I'm joined now by Corporal Christopher Maluchnik.
And hello, everyone, and welcome to the Still Faithful podcast. I'm your host and the founder of the Still Faithful Project, Andrew Robinson. I'm joined today by Chris Maluchnik, a fellow Marine who was also discharged for vaccine refusal.
A little bit about myself. I was
Yeah.
born and raised small town Pennsylvania. My grandpa believed that he was in the Air Force for 4 years, and he believed everyone should serve. So it's kind of part of the reason why I ended up joining. And so at the age of 20, I ended up joining the Marine, and I was infantry 0341. Did 4 years out in Hawaii, and then I ended up getting out in 2020, right when COVID started, and then I couldn't find work. So I was like, well, I might as well go back in. So I ended up going back in, and I went back in. I lat moved, so I switched MOSs to an 0411. And then I was stationed in Omaha, Nebraska. I was actually I-9, was sent to train reservist, and then you had a bunch of collateral duties like funerals and Toys for Tots and everything else like that. But at my job, my second job was a maintenance manager. I did 2 years there. Upon when the COVID vaccine started rolling out, I knew it was going to be a mandatory thing. They kind of like pushed it off they started off as like a voluntary thing. And then I spent a year there, and then they hadn't sent me to school for the first year. So I was like, when are you guys sending me to school? And they're like, oh, we don't know yet, da 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 da. And I already knew my job very well. I did it better than the guy that was school trained. So they didn't really want to send me to school because they needed me there. And then they finally kind of got the crackdown. They're like, you got to send this guy to school. Well, that was when they were kind of starting to push the vaccine pretty hard. And I'm like, and the MOS school was 6 months long. So I'm like, I'm not going to MOS school for 6 months to come back and get kicked out. You guys are silly. So they ended up giving me a slap on the wrist for that, wrote me up for that, and then gave me a 6105, which is like the equivalent to like a page 11 for other branches and stuff. And then they were going to try to kick me out for that. And then the vaccine mandate came out, and then I refused that also. But previously to actually me refusing the vaccine, I was sent to Quantico for 2 weeks to do a training at the FBI place there. They had to do hazmat training there, but the FBI, of course, they were the ones that hosted it. But I had like I had like a really high heart rate of like 130 the whole time I was there. And then later on, I figured I acquitted that to shedding from other people having the vaccines.